Summary of the poem, A Tiger in the Zoo, written by Leslie Norris. This poem tells the story of a majestic and powerful tiger that is confined to a cage. The tiger, with its vivid stripes, moves silently within the limited space of its enclosure, expressing a subdued anger. Instead of roaming freely in the wild, where it could lurk in shadows, glide through tall grass, and terrify deer near a water hole, the tiger finds itself trapped in a concrete cell. The poet describes how the tiger should be snarling around houses on the edge of the jungle, revealing its menacing fangs and claws, spreading terror in the nearby village. However, the reality is that the tiger's strength is confined behind bars, and it merely paces back and forth within the cage, indifferent to the visitors who come to see it. The poem reflects on the contrast between the natural habitat where the tiger should thrive and the restrictive, unnatural environment of its cage. The tiger, isolated from the sounds of the jungle and the freedom of the wild, listens to the last voices of the night and gazes at the stars with its brilliant eyes, highlighting the poignant contrast between its current captivity and the wildlife it should be leading. Questions and answers from thinking about the poem section. Question 1. Read the poem again, and work in pairs or groups to do the following tasks. 1. Find the words that describe the movements and actions of the tiger in the cage and in the wild. Arrange them in 2 columns. 2. Find the words that describe the 2 places, and arrange them in 2 columns. Now try to share ideas about how the poet uses words and images to contrast the 2 situations. Answer. 1. Movements and actions. In the cage, stalks, pads, quiet, rage, ignoring. In the wild, lurking, sliding, snarling, bearing, terrorizing. 2. Places. In the cage, concrete cell. In the wild, shadow, long grass, water hole, jungle's edge, village. The poet uses vivid language and contrasting images to highlight the stark difference between the tiger's confined life in a concrete cell and its natural habitat in the wild. The words associated with the cage convey confinement, quietness, and captivity, while those related to the wild evoke a sense of freedom, stealth, and wildness. This sharp contrast emphasizes the tiger's plight, and underscores the loss of its natural instincts and environment. Question 2. Notice the use of a word repeated in lines such as these. 1. On pads of velvet quiet, in his quiet rage. 2. And stares with his brilliant eyes at the brilliant stars. What do you think is the effect of this repetition? Answer. The repetition of the word quiet in the lines intensifies the contrast between the tiger's physical movements and its emotional state. In the cage, it moves on pads of velvet quiet while experiencing quiet rage. The repetition emphasizes the restrained, subdued nature of the tiger's existence, creating a poignant and conflicted atmosphere. Question 3. Read the following 2 poems, one about a tiger and the other about a panther. Then discuss, are zoos necessary for the protection or conservation of some species of animals? Are they useful for educating the public? Are there alternatives to zoos? Answer. The tiger poem expresses a captive tiger's longing for freedom, while the panther poem portrays the weariness of a confined panther's gaze. While zoos claim to protect and conserve species, captivity raises ethical concerns. Zoos may offer educational value, yet alternatives like wildlife sanctuaries emphasize conservation without compromising animal welfare. Balancing education and ethical treatment, exploring alternatives, such as sanctuaries, could better serve both animal well-being and public awareness. Question 4. Take a point of view for or against zoos, or even consider both points of view and write a couple of paragraphs or speak about this topic for a couple of minutes in class. Answer. For zoos, zoos play a vital role in conservation, protecting endangered species from extinction. They provide a controlled environment for breeding programs and scientific research. Educational programs in zoos foster awareness, promoting a sense of responsibility for wildlife. With proper care, zoos can contribute significantly to the preservation of diverse ecosystems and species. Against zoos, despite intentions, zoos raise ethical concerns about animal welfare. Captivity limits natural behaviors, causing stress and health issues. Conservation efforts should prioritize preserving habitats and supporting wildlife sanctuaries, offering a more ethical approach to safeguarding biodiversity. Public education can occur through alternative means without compromising the well-being of animals. Important vocabulary from the poem. Snarls, makes an angry, warning sound.